Morning. Well, we're out here. We're not out here, we're back. I've had my shower. It was a little too cold. I wore my winter jacket today. But that can always be. It's falling apart. Or it needs to be somewhat updated. Okay, so let's go see if we can turn on the lights and have a little chat for a bit. So grab your coffee, and that's what I'm doing. Oh, my legs aren't doing well today. I can walk today, but we'll see. We'll keep going and have our little chat. I got the light on, so maybe we'll be able to see me. There we go. Now, I know we've chatted about this before, but hi there, that's a little bit better. I turned towards the light and we're not getting the darkness from the other part of the room. What I want to talk today about is the aftermath of Donald Trump. Well, you can't really call it an aftermath because we're still dealing with it. And, it sounds like he is a bully. I mean, we've already seen evidence of not evidence of sexual impropriety, but the talking of it. I want to make sure I say this correctly. And then there's also one where Howard Stern and him talk about his daughter. And, I'm pretty sure his daughter has some of the fiery instincts that he does. And I will give you that he has very much a fiery instinct within him. But right now, it seems like we're being in a lot of, how do I say this, middle school antics. Well, if you're not going to play with me, I'm going to do this to you. And that's pretty much what it is. When people are downgrading other people, if you're in, middle school, you start acting like, oh, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And you actually go out and do it. Now, I know adults, we think about this quite a lot. But we don't actually go out and do it. And Donald Trump is spreading all this talk. And I can't believe that there is a total number of people who keep supporting him. He hasn't shown you anything. He talks about making America great. But he's just going to go out there and bully people. If you don't agree with him, let's just go out and bully. And people who kind of believe that mentality and supporters of him want to make it all where, the whites have the power and, the blacks can't have anything. And just because there was a first-time black president, oh, he must be a Muslim. And, the whole thing, and, you say, oh, you've shown your birth certificate. Well, I want to see the real one. It's like you don't get a real one in Hawaii or any other state nowadays. So I think we've got to be aware of what these practices are and keep an eye out with our kids. If these actions keep happening, well, we need to say, hey, that's not appropriate. You've got to stop that. But so often people don't. They keep thinking, oh, well, yeah, they're just a weakling. And, for example, this lady, whoever he was talking about, I'm sure, that, grab her by her genitalia area. You know, kids imitate what they see. Now, I can remember years ago, there was a show, The A-Team, and there was a show, SWAT. And during recess on the playground, you could see these going constantly. Until we were sat down and said, that's not the appropriate way to act. But, all these people are pushing them aside and saying, oh, it's locker room talk. I did rugby, and I did not hear this locker room talk all the time. In fact, we talked about girls, but we talked about, the next dance. We don't sit there and talk. And he said he was 59 at the time. Well, that's garbage. And also, if you're this great businessman, you would have complaints from people who you work with on sexual assault. And, Miss Housekeeping, and she's a pig, and it's all garbage. And, we all sit there and we all talk about it, but why aren't we doing something about this? Sorry, Nico's here wanting to play with his ball, and we'll do that as soon as we're done our chat here. But he goes after people for his heritage, and then he says, oh, well, Hillary Clinton, you have hate in your heart. Now, I wouldn't care if it was Hillary or if it was another person he was running against. Why are we turning to hatred of people instead of hatred of the policies? Now, if he's not growing his base, he's just keeps downgrading it, and oh well, we're not going to win, and that's the feeling I'm getting. But he's bullying Paul Ryan. You're not playing with me. Well, I'm going to make up stories about you. He's making up stories against Hillary, and and one of his supporters, and in front of his running mate, Mike Pence, said, if Hillary wins, I'm going to I'm paraphrasing here. I want a revolution. And, it's just like, well, we'll revolt and we'll get what we want just from revolting. And that's bullying. No one, if the majority of the people vote and say, this is what we want, that's the way it goes. I mean, however, if, you're voting and you get the answer that you don't like, oh, we'll just do a revolution. It's not going to work that way. You're talking about making things, or making America great. Right now, Donald Trump, you're not making it great, and I can't see how things are going to change if you get elected president. People are dropping off. Now, you have got a little bit stronger presentation on your last debate, But we need to stem this actions. And the revolt, or saying she wanted to revolt, is just saying, oh well, the white people didn't, you're not fighting for me. You're fighting for the white people. And that's all, Hispanics. He's talked negatively about blacks. He's talked negatively about disabled people. And that one really touches close here. But we condone this. We report on it, and we say, "Oh, this isn't great." But I think there really has to be a change when the next election or after this election, and get some electoral votes that you can't talk about someone or bring up someone unless it's true. And a lot of the things that, oh, Hillary doesn't have the stamina. Well, she had pneumonia. If Trump had pneumonia, oh well, he's so ill. But Hillary gets it, or his opponents get it, and it's like, oh well, you're really ill. You can't run the country. And I think it's garbage. Everyone's a human being. And, make things great. And, there's an awful lot of differences about us. And, he's saying, well, bomb everyone. Well, they don't agree with us, we'll just bomb them. And I'm sorry, but where do we get this feeling that we can go out and bomb everyone just because they don't agree? And that's the same someone who's weaker on the playground. Oh, well, no, we're not going to talk. We're just going to beat you up until you give us what we want. And you know what? Britain did that policy years ago. And things never changed from there. So, Trump and Trump supporters, you need to take a look at the issues. Come up with some strong issues. If you want to build your candidate to where he can get into the White House, then you need to build your policies. Right now, we heard a little bit about, what was it, childcare? But, we constantly keep hearing, oh, well, we're going to bomb them all. Really? Come on, you can't bomb them. But we keep hearing this. And, I don't think he's the person to have on the key. Or what, the button, sorry, I think they call it a button down there, about the nuclear war. Come on, people, you need to be aware of what's going on. He doesn't really say how he's going to make things great. He's just going to build a wall, which is going to take away people who are really able to work hard. And, the people who are doing your nails or who are doing a lot of the jobs you don't want to do because they want to build their lives because it's going to be better than the country they came from. And isn't that all what America was built on? But, people getting beat up because they don't necessarily believe in you. Now I can understand being asked to leave a meeting because you're disruptive and you're not really being a member of the whole meeting. But you don't say, oh, well, I'll work on having this person beat up. I'll pay any of your legal bills. Come on. That's idiotic. And, if someone on the playground had this attitude, they probably would be expelled from school. But you know what? Oh, well, this isn't school anymore. Well, you have to, everything is written off. Anything he does keeps coming as, oh, well, he can write it off. We have to make America great. And he's the only one that can do it. I don't think so. I think everyone is concerned. Oh, well, you know, I don't think this is great. If calling someone a crooked Hillary, and there was talk. I think it was CNN went to a rally, and there were just people yelling at this. You're hired by the Clintons. They're not hired by the Clintons. The same way as you own any of the radio stations. But they got vicious. And one of the reporters asked someone about, is Donald Trump really the, how should you put it, is he kind of the role model that you want for your son or your daughter? And the answer of this lady said, well, it's better than having the deceitful and pathological liar of Hillary, or I don't know if she used the name, but, and I really have to think, what? You're saying Hillary is a pathological liar, and she may lied somewhat, 30 years, okay. However, your guy makes up stories on the drop of a hat, and we're supposed to be, oh, that's okay because Donald Trump only speaks the truth. Well, there's been fact checkers and everything where he constantly makes ongoing comments about people. He makes lies. Now, to me, that's much more of a pathological liar than Hillary. Now, I would be saying the exact same things if the Democrats had someone doing the exact same things. And he says he's such a great businessman. Well, I think he got to be a great businessman because of his bullying techniques. The only way you can be a strong businessman is if you show your strength. And, saying you're sorry and all that is not a way to show your strength. But, when he talked about these women's issues, and I'm sure these women's issues would have died and gone away like pretty much every other candidate would have been if he gave a heartfelt apology, which he didn't. He just went on, and then he just went on still complaining about oh, well, what Bob Clinton did was worse. Well, he didn't really atone. There was not. He just went off on another tangent. If he had cut that topic, cut it off there, and he's trying to say, well, you see, I'd still great and I would do that. He doesn't do it. So, come on, it's still the bullying techniques. And now they're talking about that Russia is hacking a lot of the computerized systems for election day. Well, maybe you need to print it all on paper and do it all on paper. But, yes, Russia can hack. And, I think what he wants is to have a puppet government in the States that then Russia could have total control of the world. Well, maybe we just need to go back to the manual elections, and don't use all the computerized systems where other countries can, just pretty well control your elections. But from where I stand, I can see that Russia wants to influence his elections and then be buddy buddy. And, it's not going to be, oh, well, we're going to make America great. America's not going to be great. They're going to have Mr. Putin in place. But, why do I see World War II again? Now, I'm sure Mr. Trump has a lot of good qualities, but it's choosing that we hate certain people, and these people are being used as the scapegoats. Well, this time, he got as much as he could, off American scapegoats or whatever. So now he'll move on to women. And I really can't see. There's 2 tapes out there, and, there may be more. One talking to Howard Stern about Trump's daughter. And it wasn't, oh, well, oh, can I say she's hot? And he's agreeing with him. What hell of a respect. Oh, well, that's just locker room talk. It isn't locker room talk. It's rape talk. And, I hate to say this, and for any woman, it's the most terrible thing going through. But if his daughter was raped, and God forbid, no woman, and don't even go there, but I'm just trying to use it as a topic right now, then, he would be on the airways saying it was such and such, and, oh, it was Mexicans, or, it was immigrants that did it to her. And I think we got to be wary of what happens when the bully gets called into the principal's office. He gets let out onto the playing field again, and the bully, may go out and end up punching a kid as he leaves the school ground. Oh, because you reported on me, blah, 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 blah. And I can't see where this is going to bode well. If he wins, it's going to be terrible for the states. If he doesn't win, then, he's going to keep tweeting all out there. And, this lady is already calling for a revolution. He'll probably just say, oh, well, the Democrats, are really causing the problems, and, we need to, he'll go there. He's already trying to break apart the Republican Party. And before this, I honestly have to say the Republicans have a different mind on how to run the country than the Democrats. It's pretty much like the conservatives and liberals here versus the NDP parties. But now it's just getting mean. Like, there's one more presidential vote happening. Well, what's going to happen is, there's going to be people getting upset, and he's going to come out, he's going to be swinging and, saying all these terrible things. When does it stop? It's got to stop at our school grounds, our campuses, our sports teams, saying any kind of bullying isn't right. We have to take care of all our people. And to say, if he's elected president, he's not going to take care of all his people. He's going to take care of his little core. And, healthcare. He's against healthcare. He's against everything. So I think Donald Trump is allowed to get ahead because he's kept these issues. In other words, the bullies all these years have come forward and finally have someone that they can believe in. So, yes, I would say get out there and vote and, say no to Trump. But also, if he says his locker room, sorry, the light there, if he says his locker room, well, coaches, get in your locker rooms and stop this kind of talk. We have a football team here in Vancouver called the BC Lions. And they've done promos on this that, they don't talk like that. So why should we allow our kids and, it's still the, the weaker. And you get a lot of high school, coaches and who agree that things aren't right. But then you get some that, oh, well, come on, you just got to toughen up. Well, you know what? I hope that, everyone who believes in a fair play on the playing field, on the playgrounds, running an election, comes strong. Well, it's just something to really think about, and how what seems innocent on the playground can turn into a lot bigger things. Now we have this guy who figures, well, bullying's the only way to get what he wants. And, I don't think your bullying didn't get you a change in your judgments of this judge. It's not going to allow you to change your feelings. But, we'll have to wait and see what comes of it. But I think, adults, you need to get out there, and if you see a child bullying another child, intervene. Be strong about it. So, have a great day and something to think about. Bye now.